We are going live. We're doing it. We are live in a VO's journey. Holy moly. It is good to be back. It is Tuesday. Yes, or crap. Is it Tuesday or Thursday? It's Tuesday. Oh my goodness. It is Tuesday to VO's journey. This show is all about helping the new and upcoming voiceover artists grow their business and sidestep all of the crazy things that I seem to step on. So you can tell that it has been crazy day, been super ridiculous busy, and just being dumb and stupid like I like to be. So that is lots of fun as always. And it's what's really kind of cool on a side note is that, when you become or when you go full time or you start doing this, you do kind of start to lose a little bit of track sometimes of what day it is because, you kind of, you don't see the time passing up here. I should get a little picture that changes for the seasons. Anyways, what's up, Marcus? Today, what I want to be talking about is, should you be giving out samples on Fiverr, like free auditions, free samples of work? And usually what happens is when we're on that platform, a customer or a potential customer will reach out to us and they will, hey, Shabab, they will ask if we would read maybe a couple of sentences. Hey, Clint, read a couple of sentences or something and send it back to them for sample purposes so they can either listen to it themselves or send it to their clients. And I get asked this question actually a lot. This is probably one of the most questions I get to ask. Should I give out free samples of my work? And will they take advantage of me? Will they steal it? Am I doing something wrong? You know what I mean? So I thought I wanted to answer that question. So that's basically what happens a lot of times is that, someone will send you a script and they'll ask, hey, can you either send me a couple of sentences from this and so forth. Now, I'm going to tell you my take on it. And again, this is just my humble opinion. I kind of look at it two ways. Well, first way is, yes, I agree that if you were to take a piece of work, especially a smaller piece, and do that piece, even a lot of it, half of it or so, and you send that off to someone, could they take that and use it without your permission and you kind of get, shafted a little bit? Yeah, you could. But the way I look at it is the second side is if you don't ever give out samples or anything like that, you're never going to know if, you could have got that business. So there is kind of two parts to that as well. There's also the part of, yes, you want to get yourself out there. There's nothing wrong with giving out a free audition. I mean, when did we start charging for auditions unless you're on Voice Bunny? Right. But other than that, we don't charge for auditions. But it's odd when someone comes and asks us for an audition or a sample because our antennas go up like there's a scam brewing. But I think the reality is that we want to give out those samples. We want to give out those short reads. And, because if we don't, we're never going to know. And I have a lot of customers who I do that for. And actually what's happened is I've got a lot of repeat customers who come back and they're studios. And what they do is they ask me for a sample of a piece of work so they can give it to their client, and they give it to their client and they always come back and say, client loves it. Let's go ahead and go on with the project. But there's also been people where I've given stuff to them and they've not come back. And could they have taken it? Sure. But I never do enough, I think, to give them that opportunity. And if you are worried, I want to give you a little piece of advice. If you are worried about that, there's a couple things that you can do. Okay. One, the old way of doing something like this is you can slate your work, but somebody can always go back in and take that, Two, you can actually go into the work and record the sample, then take out sentences or words here and there throughout it that makes it very unusable for like a finalized piece. Or what you can do, actually, what I like to do is I have a separate recording that it's like for sample use only. And what I do is I record a sample, go into my multi-track, lay it underneath where it literally says, this is a sample. This is a sample. This is a sample. If you didn't know, this is a sample. and I lay that underneath, so I lay that on the track, so like when they're listening to it, they hear, if you didn't know, this is a sample. And actually it's so simple, right? Because you just mix it together and it's absolutely fine, but they can't use it. Maybe they get like, boy, this guy is a goofball, but it is what it is. Okay, so how do you give samples without creating an offer on Fiverr? So well, first off, you can upload files on Fiverr. So you can give an MP3 file, a WAV file. You can upload files through the messaging all day long without creating any type of offer. Now, a challenge does come in, and I can address this in the buyer request section. And this might be another question people might have. A lot of times people go into or customers go into the buyer request section and they ask you for a sample, or they ask you to read a sample. And you'll notice it's really impossible for you to do unless you specifically record it somewhere else and include that link, like in a Google Drive or something else, which Fiverr does not want you to do. So what I do is a little trick behind this is I actually include the link to my other Fiverr gig, right, to the actual gig. Because if you don't know, if you've ever gotten a offer request from someone, like someone's offering you something, if you've ever gotten that, you'll notice that you can't actually hear, like it doesn't come up and let you like hear the demo and things like that. You can't actually see it. It's just what's on that, like it's about this big, right, that pops on the screen about your face and then what you're offering. But it doesn't show them like your demo, your description. It doesn't show them any of that stuff. So it's a great idea to include the link in there and also let them know, say, hey, Fiverr, because a lot of people, they don't know. So, hey, Fiverr doesn't allow us to send any files through this, but if you would like to talk more about it, just message me. And as soon as they message you, then you can send them a sample. And that's what you want, is to get that conversation going through the messages. I've done this tons of times where I've actually had people, hey, and what I do is I put like $100 or $200 in the section there. So they won't, click on it. Don't put $5 because then they're like, if they accept the order, you're screwed. So put in like $100 and say, hey, just message me and we can talk more about it and I can help you out. And that way they can get in conversation with you, because that's all they really want is to get somebody who knows what they're doing. Because most of the time I do think that there are some people who go to that section to try to, maybe get lower prices. That's true. But I do think there's a lot of them, most of them don't know what they're doing as well. So anyways, that's something there. So I see some stuff going up on the side. I just send them, wait, here we go. So that helps out a lot. Clint, waiting. So on buyer's request, didn't see a link when you send an offer. Waiting. So on buyer's request, they don't see a link when you send an offer. Yes, that's right. So think about when you send an offer to somebody through a chat, there is no link there. All there is for you send an offer and it's like buy or withdraw. And for them, they have an opportunity to buy or decline. There's no link. There's no video button. There's nothing like that. So that's why you have to know that when you send an offer to somebody, you know what I mean? They need to know. And that's why they ask for samples. And a lot of times people might find you and they didn't know to click on something, or they don't know. You know what I'm saying? So I think a lot of people get angry sometimes with buyers because they think they should know more than they do. A lot of times they don't. I mean, yes, they're scammers, of course, but there's a lot of them that are not scammers, who are just trying to figure it out. So good, good. That was a good question. Cancun Andy, what's up? Says, I just send them either a brief 15-second or 30-second, no longer reads audition. If I'm a bit suspicious, I'll add a watermark. Yep. My pro clients have never had problems with that. Yeah. I mean, the way I look at it is, honestly, if you're going to send out a sample, the pros far outweigh the cons. You know what I mean? Like it's just going to make it a lot better than, whether you don't send it out. Let's see. Yeah. Made that mistake a couple of times. Low offers got me. Yeah. And I do exactly what you said about messaging, so I can send them a sample, great advice, and choose from. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, you are in Cancun. How fun is that? Um, so anyways, yeah, so for me, the answer to the question is absolutely yes, you should send the samples. You should not charge for it. I will tell you to be aware of this, but there's nothing you can do about it. I do have a particular person in mind who comes to me and they constantly pay for me to audition for one of their customers, but yet they never, and they say if they choose it, we'll come back and buy the rights. But they never come back and buy rights from me. So one would think, hey, maybe they're not using my piece ever, but stuff like that makes me suspicious. But what I do think about, all right, well, they at least use, they're paying me. But anyways, the point is, what am I going to do? Track them down? I mean, I don't need to do, I don't feel like I want to do that. But you do have to use your intuition, your instincts if it feels wrong. But at the same time too, I mean, you got to think a lot of people on Fiverr are brand new too. So you've got to give them slack, just like we hope they give us slack if we screw up. You know what I'm saying? Again, there's always scammers, yes, but I'm like, I don't know. I'm like habitually positive when it comes to believing in people. And yeah, you can get burned by doing it, but at the same time, I want to believe most people, have the best interest in mind, even though sometimes they're misguided. Most people are not out to, tank you. So anyways, let's see. I've wasted so much time telling people in buyer's request to check my gig sample without sending them a link. Yeah, I mean, that's right. And that's why you don't even know. Like if you see that someone has 20, 26 or 27 requests, you don't know what those people have sent. They could have been French people asking for English, just like we do, when we're sending out our buyer requests and offers to people and saying, hey, I know you don't need an American male voiceover artist right now, but if you do in the future, go ahead and use me. There could be, and then there's other people doing crazy things. Like, and you don't know what people are offering money wise too. They could be offering $500. Don't ever assume anything. Just do the things that work for you and let the chips fall where they lay. All right. Man, been there for 26 years. Nice. Just don't send a whole 15,000 word read as a sample. Yeah. I don't see how that's a lot. 15,000 words. I mean, that's an hour and a half pretty much. So that's pretty crazy. Thanks for super helpful, Andy. You did that. Yeah. No, just saying. Okay. All right, you guys. Well, if you have any other questions, go ahead and feel free to post them. But I wanted to come on and tell you this because like I said, I get this a lot. And if you think, and by the way, samples, if we stop for a second and think of the vocab here, samples are kind of what we say when we're giving a sample read of something that we've created per se, right? Like a sample read being like, I have some samples of a conversational tone, you know what I mean? Or an upbeat corporate style happy tone. Do you know what I mean? Like that, those or professional tone. Those are samples that we have created that are maybe like 15, 20-second samples. All right. So when we talk about samples, we're actually talking about pretty much already created work. But remember, the customer doesn't necessarily know that too. So really what they're asking you to do is when they do that is to audition for them. They want you to audition if they're giving you a piece and would like you to read it. Okay, so that's pretty much an audition. Make sure you always include a link when you're on Fiverr to your Fiverr stuff. That's a big deal because a lot of times people don't know how to navigate the platform. I mean, when we spend as much time on it, I make a really good living on Fiverr, so I spend a lot of time on that platform. I know it in and out. But customers just coming on there, brand new people, they don't know it in and out. Just think about when you first got on there. You might still be pretty new and still don't know everything, all the nooks and crannies and how it all works. Sometimes going back and forth from buyer to seller can be confusing. I have a lot of buyers who get lost, from when they accept something, because then they go back. You might have experienced, they buy something from you, then they go back and start chatting with you in the regular chat, like the message place, and not in the actual gig, which makes it difficult because you're submitting through the gig. So sometimes you got to like meet them where they are, meet them halfway. So. All right. Thanks. Going to use this info right away, man. Awesome, man. All right, you guys. Thank you guys so much. As always, I appreciate it. And please make sure you like this video if you did. And please subscribe. And here, listen, this is something interesting I want to tell you too. If you could make sure you hit the bell, the notification button, tick that little bell so that you get notified that way, because a lot of times with all the stuff going on, when the algorithm, changing on YouTube, you don't always see what's happening. So because YouTube's decreasing the amount of people that see the videos, but we can bypass that by, clicking that notification bell. And that way you'll get notified, you know what I mean, when there's a new video that comes out. All right, you guys, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. You guys have a wonderful day. I'll see you tomorrow, which is Wednesday. I'm sure of it. All right. Bye-bye.